Welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport.
Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. So the Formula 1 season is going to start very soon, just over a week in fact. So let's take a look at all the brand new liveries that will be adorning the grid in Melbourne. There were not a lot of changes in the driver market this year, and funnily enough not a lot happened on the livery front either. But still, let's line the suckers up and listen to this expert's in-depth opinion as to what is super cool and what is super lame. I mean, I'm 30 and talking to 20 people on the internet about what multi-millionaires do with the colours of their cars, but whatever. With that, let's begin. Williams, 4 out of 10. Yeah, I didn't like Williams' 2019 livery. I thought it looked very lower formula, a big come down from the Martini style livery from previous years. In fact, I'd call it the worst livery Williams have had since they became a Formula 1 team back in the late 70s. But changes have been made, and well, I don't know how to say this, but I don't like this one either. Maybe I'm being picky, but it still looks a bit lower formula, a bit cheap. The Rocket sponsorship is now a big red blob on the side. It adds a bit of colour to an otherwise dull car, but it just doesn't do anything for me. The red numbers are a nice touch though. And more importantly, it needs to be better on the track than last year, because last year was disastrous for the team. And they need another year like that, like I need a full rectal exam. Haas, 6 out of 10. Well, Haas did really need to get as far away from last year's livery as possible and forget all about the rich energy bullshit, so going back to establishing their own identity on the grid was probably a good idea. The problem is, they never really had an identity. Haas cars in previous years have always been kind of dull looking, and the 2020 offering is the best they have ever had on that front. It's fine, it looks very clean and well put together, but it looks like most of the Formula E field, and I'm kind of tired of these red, black and white single-seater racing cars. So tired in fact, I have nothing left to say about it. Alfa Romeo, 8 out of 10. Well, it looks pretty much the same as last year, except with the new Orlan sponsorship courtesy of Robert Kubica. But last year's car looked pretty glorious, and this one does too. Why change what isn't broke? I think what makes this livery great is the shade of red they choose. It is so very nice looking. They came out with some weird snakeskin effect testing livery as well, that people seem to be drooling over. But when I saw it, I thought it looked ugly and lame, and I'm glad that they are in no way going to incorporate it into their final livery. So yeah, another solid job from Alfa Romeo. Well done. Racing Point, 8 out of 10. It's so pink! I like the Force India Racing Point team moving to a pink car. There's no better way to stand out. But what I didn't like about last year's Racing Point was the large blue Sports Pacer sponsorship on the rear flank of the car. Well, now they have dropped as sponsors, and BWT has moved to main sponsorship logo and is much better implemented. Also, the black nose details look really good, and the right diagonal sash with the BWT logo works surprisingly well. It's still missing something that would make it a 10 out of 10 livery, but it's coming along really nice year after year. Can't wait for them to spoil it in 2021 when they change to an Aston Martin livery. AlphaTauri, 3 out of 10. I don't get it. Everyone went wild for this new livery from the rebranded Toro Rosso team. But why? It's the dullest looking shit I've ever seen. I loved the Toro Rosso liveries of previous years. It was a great shade of blue, and now they've gone and ruined it. What is so special about this livery? It's the particular shade. It's a strange shade of blue, which I'm sure in marketing speak has a very fancy name. But it's just dark blue on the track, and it looked black to me. So it's just another basic dark colour and white car. I get that they wanted to move in a new direction completely. I wasn't expecting the same livery, but this is just so boring to look at. Everyone who liked this is just wrong. I'm right, and you should all listen to me. Remember to subscribe. Renault, 7 out of 10. Renault have been coy little bitches, not actually showing their livery officially as far as I can see. The black livery they used in testing was okay, nothing really special, but it did look stealthy and the retro style numbers were cool. Apparently the car will have yellow, and I'm not expecting anything too different from last year, but it's interesting they didn't want to show the car off when everyone else was. Some have said that's because there were issues and some stuff hadn't been delivered, but Renault say everything is fine and on course. Just keep the retro numbers because those are a real nice touch, and we'll have to wait and see what the final livery is. McLaren, 9 out of 10. I love the papaya orange colour of the McLarens over the last few years, and last year they really perfected it, but things have got to change, unless you're at least half the teams on the F1 grid anyway. So McLaren have added some blue to the side pods and expect it to impress me. Well, good job, because I like it a lot. It does kind of remind me of the Renaults of the mid-2000s, but this is even better. The colours mix perfectly, it's so sleek looking, and the matte effect is interesting touch, which I'm 50-50 on honestly. It looks great in pictures on the internet anyway, and I really love this car. Another great job from McLaren. Red Bull, 5 out of 10. I literally have nothing to say. It is exactly the same as last year. I can't pick out a single thing that's different. This is the 5th year in a row Red Bull have had this livery, and I liked it then, but I'm bored Red Bull. Do something interesting with it. It's a nice livery, but for me it's worn out its welcome. No points for originality. Ferrari, 5 out of 10. Just take what I said about Red Bull and apply it to Ferrari as well, frankly. Well, they at least changed the numbers. Again, retro numbers are very nice. You're not getting extra points when you did sod all else. I don't really like this livery that much. I like the matte red, but the sponsors seem to have been applied with a shotgun. Maybe Mercedes will have done something different this year, something interesting to really get the blood pumping. Mercedes, 3 out of 10. Well, they have done something. They've made it worse, but they have done something. Mercedes for me have always had the most corporate, dull, marketing friendly liveries. They look like they were designed by businessmen and not artists. Not much has changed. A new sponsor has meant added red to the airbox and the front wing end plates, and it looks garbage. It stands out way too much. It looks like they've stolen parts from another team. The rest of the livery is the same star pattern as last year, and honestly it's not great looking. It just looks weird to me, and it has a stupid turquoise line going across the side. This looks like a mismatch of different designs. Like one guy said, "Ooh, we should have an ugly green line down the side," and another said, "But we need the stars at the back." And then another moron jumped up and screamed, "Paint bits red," at the top of his lungs. Again, I have read that people like this, and they are mad because it's the ugliest livery on the grid this year. It will still win everything though. And that's all 10 teams looked and reviewed, except maybe Renault, because God knows what they will turn up with in Melbourne. Could be painted in the colours of the French flag with a cartoon character of Ricardo Knockon's face on the side. Anyway, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and whilst there, subscribe for more and have a good one.